Hi, I'm Zach, also known as ZmanTheVegan here on YouTube. I'm a vegan singer-songwriter. I'm 31 years old and I live in Missouri. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you all my favorite spots to write new songs. So, all of them are outside because something about writing music and being outside just really works out. Though I must correct myself, not all of them are outside because the last one I'll show you is inside. And I mean, it's just the office. It's where I edit the videos. It's where I watch YouTube, and it's my other spot of sitting and hanging out. So it's where I inevitably end up writing music, because really I write music just about anywhere where I'm at. I see any moment and any location as a possibility to write a song and to escape into my imagination or the creative process, but not always in an unhealthy way to escape. I've done that before. That's not a good thing, to just escape your reality and not deal with your problems and just write songs all the time. But I mean, there's an opportunity to maybe not necessarily escape, not use that word, but to dive deep into your imagination in any moment, anywhere you are. Any experience that you're experiencing, you can use as fuel for songwriting, and I've always seen that as amazing. So in this video, I'm going to show you all the spots in this beautiful yard where I live at my parents' house, and I'm going to go through my songwriting process a little bit. So whenever I write a new song, it usually starts out with a chord progression, me just doodling on the guitar. Sometimes it does start with a word or a certain idea in my head of what I want to write a song about, and then I try to take that idea and put it into a song. And with that idea, I'll start with the chord progression. So if it's like an upbeat idea, I might start with the faster chord, more driven, like. Something more like upbeat and faster paced, depending upon what the idea is. But usually I just start with a complete blank slate, and I love doing that. It's like unlimited potential. You could go anywhere. That's how it leaves me feeling, and I feel like I'm diving into an entirely different universe, and like this entire fretboard is the map, and you can just randomly choose different spots to go. And usually it sounds pretty bad whenever you're just randomly choosing them, but then you kind of just tweak it a little bit until it starts to sound good. I mean, sometimes you hit it right on the first try, and I mean, sometimes I'll even just straight up start playing chords and it'll just randomly come to me, and then I'll start singing words, and then it just all fits together perfectly, and that's the song there. That doesn't usually happen all that often, but sometimes it does, which is another reason why I like just randomly making music up a lot, because the more you do that, the easier it is to just create songs on the spot, and then ones that sound pretty good, or that sound better than the other ones that I make, at least. Not that I make the best music, but it feels exhilarating. It feels amazing. I can tell the difference if like a song hits harder by how it feels whenever I'm playing it. But anyway, so I start off just playing something random, usually, however I'm feeling. And since I've been playing so long, a lot of the time this will happen where I'm playing something very similar to what I've already played before, but then I just tweak it a little bit and I start to go in a direction I've never gone before. So then the next thing I'll do is I'll just start freestyling and singing. And either at this point I'll just completely freestyle and just make everything up if I don't have a particular mood or a particular song I'm trying to write. But if I'm really trying to write a song in the moment, then I'll start to try to think of a story or some type of message or theme that I'm trying to create. And I usually start with the chorus. So, or I don't know, it's 50-50. I either start with the verse where I'm freestyling and then I lean into the chorus. But number one thing is I'll start freestyling and just making stuff up. Make it up as I go, I don't know where I'm going. Sing a song and make it up off the top of my head, like the droplets falling out of the clouds, the sky, the space, the aurora is taking, shaking, aurora is space. I make it up as I go, shaking and cooking and breaking like galactic microwave. Multi-dimensional oven inside of my head. I'm cooking and breaking and shaking and making these things I've never made before. I've never made it like this before. I've never made it like this before. So like right there, I started out kind of just freestyling a verse, and then it always like eventually boils down to some point that I'm trying to make, and that usually becomes the hook or the chorus. So there it was, I've never made it like this before, and so that will usually become the hook of the song right there. And then and usually if it doesn't feel strong enough, what I'll do is I'll just start from the beginning again and just freestyle again until I make the wording better, the phrasing, everything, until it's all better and stronger and more on point. And what I usually do is I'll come back and I'll rewrite it. I'll think of different ways to say the thing that I'm saying, but make it hit harder or just more powerful, more visually powerful. I try to think of how can I paint a picture of and make people visualize what I'm trying to say, not actually explain what I'm trying to say. Like the word multi-dimensional musical oven. I don't think I said musical oven, I just said multi-dimensional oven. And then I started saying cooking and baking. And then I didn't say a song, but now I could say multi-dimensional musical oven. I'm cooking and baking the new songs I'm making. Like that. That's an example of how I go back to what I said before, but then I just kind of say it a little bit differently. I tweak it a little bit, make it a little bit better, and then I go back to the chorus. I've never made it like this before. Never made it like this before. So yeah, that is a good portion of the songwriting process. Let me show you some more spots that I like to write music. So that's a nice spot because it's right by the door, so it's not too far walking distance as soon as I get out, and it's comfortable. It's one of the most comfortable places to sit. But I also like this spot because there's more room, more like space around here. Over there is just a little bit more cramped, and it's just a little bit further away from the door. So if my parents walk out, I have more space, because I like being alone, especially whenever I'm writing a song. And I usually just want to be left alone. Yeah, it's weird. It's also why I don't hang out with a lot of people. I don't have a lot of friends. And even the friends I do have, there's nothing against them. Even my own parents, I just like being alone. That's a part of the songwriting process. That's my excuse. No. Very rarely, though, I do sometimes feel like, oh, you know what? I want to socialize today. And whenever I'm street performing, I mean, I'm very social. I'll talk to anybody. But the main objective of why I'm there is to perform music, not really socialize with people. I've learned this through the years. I'm not that social of a person. I can't tell if it's trauma or something else. And mainly I like being alone. But that's another video. In this video I'm showing you all the spots and explaining the songwriting process. So this is also where we clear the stage, and whenever my parents have parties, we'll perform music here. This is the stage. This is where I performed for the first time in front of a crowd of people. Whenever I was like 18 or 20 years old, it was very embarrassing. It was not good at all. I got better through the years. Not to say that I'm good or incredibly good now. I like to think that I'm good. I know I'm original. I like to think that I'm at least not bad, and that I'm original, which makes me stand out, and that I can hit some pretty good notes, and that I'm a good performer. I bring some energy. I know that. I like to be a good singer, but I know sometimes my singing voice is just off-putting to people. I've been working really hard on it. Anyway, so this is my, I'd say, second favorite spot to play music, because it's not too far away where I have to carry the guitar super far away, but it's just far away enough where I have a little bit more space, both literal space, since it's open space, which is wonderful for songwriting, I think, because not to feel so trapped. But either way works. I can write in cramped spaces too. But space also away from people, just so I'm not so close to them whenever they walk out of the door, like they just did. Not that it really matters, but for some reason it throws off my focus. It throws off my energy, even if they don't say anything to me. It's the same thing whenever I'm like in public and writing songs, or whenever I lived alone in my own apartment, and if I was writing a song on my back porch and then someone walks by, it's like it interrupts the flow, and I just want to be in my own space whenever I'm writing songs. So the last thing I'm going to show y'all is the very first spot I've ever had whenever I first started writing songs around the age of 13. So I'm 31 now. But whenever I was 13, I used to come outside here and write songs on my nylon string guitar, a classical guitar. It was much easier fretboard, easy to push down on the strings. And I remember I would also get really high and come out here. It was a different table, but it was pretty much the same thing. Or it might have even been the same table, I don't know. I think it was a different table, but a very similar type of table. It was the exact same size, basically, same chairs. Maybe they were different chairs, but they're very similar. Basically, I was sitting here at a similar type of table, or the same table, similar chairs. On my nylon string guitar, I made a pen. It was an actual pen. Don't do any of the stuff that I say I did. I'm just sharing this, but I'd highly recommend you don't actually do any of this. But I was smoking out of a pen, a metal pen. I unscrewed the top flipped it upside down so the pointy part was like the bowl, and it was like a one-hitter. And I would get high, and then I would come out here and just make up songs. I remember that chord progression is one chord progression that I found one of those times, and I would do a lot of exploring. I remember that, but every single time I found something cool, I would try to play it over and over and over again until I kind of remembered it as much as I could. I'm sure I made up a lot of songs and just forgot them because I was high, but some of them I still remember. Pretty sure this is one. So some of them I turned into actual songs years later as I played, and I remembered them, and my songwriting went up. This was before I even sang or like wrote lyrics. This is just playing guitar. But now I'm completely sober, and you know, I realized I can write songs a lot better whenever I'm not high, and I can still get that same exact feeling that I got, where it's like that high, that euphoria high of no longer just escaping into the music dimension, but just taking a journey there. Like, it's not just to escape. It's not there just to escape from my pain, because I'm facing my life pain and growing as a human being now also. So it makes it even better. Now I'm just experiencing this whole another dimension of music, and I'm getting the euphoria, but I don't have to spend money on drugs to do it. It's the same exact feeling, except a little bit more intense, because since I'm not high, it doesn't drain me. I have more energy, and my memory is better, so I can remember the songs better, and I have more energy and focus to actually write more songs and remember them. So it's more efficient, it's just better. But just for nostalgia's sake, and just to explain to you and show you the very first spot of where my songwriting actually began, it was right here on this deck whenever I was 13 years old, maybe 12. I think, actually, I am pretty sure I started doing that before I started smoking. And I started smoking at 13, so my songwriting journey began around like 11 or 12 whenever I started doing this. And yeah, so I did come out here and I was playing my guitar before I even got high, and I was just jumping into that world of music. And it's an amazing thing to do. It's and this is nostalgic to think back on those days whenever I would come out here and play my guitar and write music. Now, I don't really come out here anymore. This isn't really the spot anymore for me to be at whenever I write music, because it's a little bit further away. And I mean, I've tried to be here. I have been here like once or twice, but not that often. But there's wasps there, so I think I'm just thinking about it a little bit too logically, like, oh my gosh, the wasps. But oh yeah, and also usually the sunlight pops up over here. It's about to pop up any minute now. If you look up, you can see it's right on the edge of the tree. The tree right now is giving us shade, but here in like half an hour to an hour, this entire deck is going to be in sunlight. So that's another reason why those other spots are my go-to spots, because they're usually in the shade all day. This is my songwriting partner. Say hi, tie-dye, kitty kitty. It was like she actually said hi. You actually speak English, don't you? Yeah, now you're gonna be quiet. Oh, okay. Just gonna spin away. I see how it is. I get all the royalties. Yeah. It was like she just rolled over and went, no. Fine. We'll do 75-25. I'm 75%. Okay? Deal. Alright. That was the deal. Wait, why did I just give away 25% of my royalties to a cat? Anyway. So, yeah, this is the spot where I started songwriting, and I might start coming here a little bit more often, just like for nostalgia's sake, because this is where I first started songwriting. I mean, it means a lot to me. It makes me think back on those days as a young teenager. Whenever I first found the miracle of music, and it really was a great escape back then for me from stress of life, but also it was a new experience. It was really fun and exciting to be able to create and dive into the music world and just find these different patterns that could make me feel different ways and make me feel like I was in different dimensions. Like, I can't even explain it. It's almost spiritual. It's amazing. But yeah, anyway, there you go. That's all the spots where I write songs, and I explained some of my songwriting process to you. Leave a comment down below. Where do you write? Well, wait, I was gonna show you. Okay, yeah, I was gonna show you the inside office space. Okay, I know most of you have seen this office space already. This is one half of the room. This is mainly where I write music, probably. Either here or right outside there on the first spot I showed you, those benches. I added this here recently. It used to be a smaller plant, but I made it bigger so the plant would live longer. A bigger pot. And yeah, here's the other half of the room. Bunch of guitars, my ZmanTheVegan clothing. There's a shirt right here that I'll be selling either at my next gig or anybody who wants to buy it, who watches this video. You can buy these on my store online, ZmanTheVegan.net. I got a merch page. And yeah, more pictures. That's a funny picture of dogs playing cards. And you know, this is a nice spot. I'm really grateful that my parents let me use this office and this computer to record my music and work on and edit my YouTube videos. And also, it's just really convenient. Any moment that I feel like I want to write a song, I just reach over here. My guitar is right there. And then I just start playing it and doing the process where, like I told you, I just start making stuff up and go with whatever I'm feeling. So that's it. That's where I play and write music. I showed you my songwriting process. Leave a comment down below. Thank you for watching. For the animals! Woo!